Welcome to the Ask Me How I Know podcast, the only podcast in the multifamily niche replicating what takes place outside the walls of a seminar. This is like the lobby, where honest, unscripted conversations take place and transformation happens. We'll talk about practical problem solving in the multifamily niche, as well as overcoming limiting beliefs. Thank you for joining us today, and now for our featured guest. Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Me How I Know for another marvelous Mindset Monday. Today we're going to talk about having it all. Last night I was out fishing and we took our fishing kayak and our friends brought their boat out and we had all the kids situated. And it turned out that one of my friends and I were left on the dock with just her littlest little one, right? Just a toddler walking around. And we're out there, casting our rods. And, I think the people at the end of the dock were kind of laughing at us because they kept reeling in fish upon fish upon fish. And we're over there just talking up a storm. And where we were at, it wasn't one of those be quiet kind of fishing spots. Okay. And so we're over there fishing and talking and catching up. And through that process, this actually lent itself well. She actually said, "Do you want me to just stop and record you right now for your podcast?" Because I said, "This is what I'm going to talk about this on my podcast." She's like, "Let me record you now." And I said, "No, I'll come back to it. It'll be okay." So as we're fishing and we're watching these people at the other end of the dock, seriously, it'd be like they'd cast out and then boom, they had a fish on the end of their line, right? And it was like different varieties of fish. It was amazing. And I finally looked over there and I said, "Wow, you really got to use the right bait and maybe actually be putting out some different type of effort than we were. We were putting more effort into our conversation than fishing, to be honest." And so anyhow, as we're doing this, I was saying, this is so much like life. Sometimes we want to have it all. And so we cast out and we throw this gigantic net out into the sea of life. And we pull that net back in. Hopefully we pull it back in. Some people I don't think pull it back in. But you pull it back in and you realize that, oh, well, we got a gross water bottle. And oh, well, that's not a fish that I want to eat. And I really wanted to get some bluegill, or I really wanted like a big trout, whatever it is that you're really looking for in life, right? Well, I really wanted that job. I really wanted a relationship with this kind of person. Oh, I really wanted to give this back to my community. All those things that you want in life, whatever they are, you cast your net out. And if you're casting this gigantic net out, you're going to end up pulling in all of these things, more than you bargained for. But let's think about this. Those people at the other end of the dock who were casting, they were using a very specific bait. They were very aware of what they wanted. And they were getting exactly what they wanted. They didn't throw a single fish back, not because they were just being greedy and fish hoarders or anything like that. It was because they were finding the fish that they wanted. Did you know that you can have what you want in life? You don't need to spread yourself too thin. You don't need to cast this ginormous net out into all of life and then be stuck with the laborsome job of sorting through, I want this, I want that, I don't want that, and then having that octopus like jump out and grab you. But you can take the right things and say, okay, you know what? This is what I am fishing for in life. This is what I want in life. This is my vision for life. This is who I want to be in life. These are the type of people I want in my life. And these are the type of, this is what I would like as success in my life. You can have that, but you have to define it for yourself, right? Just like those people at the other end of the dock using a number 6 hook with a real worm on it. Nothing else, no weight, no nothing. Just like those people at the end of the dock, they were very clear. They had the right hook, they had the right bait, and they knew how to use it. If you know what your goals are, if you know what your vision is for life, you don't need to expel all the energy and effort to cast out this big thing, you can just say, this is what I'm about. And then you're going to find it's easier to say, nope, no, I don't need to do that. No to that, no to that. And you'll find it very easy to identify, yes, your yeses will become powerful in your life because you'll know what you need to say no to. You'll know that's not what I'm fishing for. That's not what my bait is trying to catch. And coincidentally, some of those things that you don't want aren't even going to be attracted, right? I mean, the fish weren't coming after what I had at the end of my line. It wasn't attracting them. You can attract the things that you want in your life. And you can also repel some of the things that you don't want in your life simply by knowing who you are and what you are about. Another analogy of this whole have it all concept is I'll go back to my childhood. At Easter and Christmas, I would end up with this exorbitant amount of candy. And that was really special because back then you didn't get candy everywhere you went like you do these days, it seems. And so I would hoard this candy and I would have all this candy available to me, but I didn't enjoy all the candy. It sat, and sometimes it even went bad. If you can believe candy went bad, but a little bit of moisture on a hard candy makes it all gross. So anyhow, sometimes you'll have it and it would go bad. Sure, I had it all. I had all that candy, but what was the point of having it if I wasn't enjoying it? What was the point in having it if it went to waste? There's a lot to consider when you're thinking about having it all. So if you're stuck with this whole FOMO, fear of missing out, and you're casting this huge net out into life, maybe it's time to think twice. Maybe it's time to think, I'm having to expend all this extra energy to get what? So this week going forward, I hope that you take time to reevaluate your goals if you have them, and if you haven't set some goals. If you're not sure who you are and what you're about, I hope you take some time to contemplate that and to start that conversation in your head, in your heart. There are lots of resources available out there that can help just kind of guide you through that process so that you can really live the most exceptional life of your dreams. That's it. Short and sweet. I hope that this week serves you well. I hope that you reevaluate those goals, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. Until then, go find your freedom.
Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Me How I Know. My guests are the most humble successes, so be sure to show them your appreciation by rating this episode 5 stars, which sounds silly, but let's be real. Ratings, likes, and shares, they take no time at all, but make all the difference in the world, if only to boost morale. Also, since I don't spend time on the how and why they got into investing, be sure to check out the show notes to get to know more about today's guests, including other podcasts they've been on that has a more traditional format that will give other details about their investment journey. It'll also tell you things like the most influential person in their life and what they're reading right now, as well as how to connect with them. And please, subscribe and rate Ask Me How I Know so it reaches other listeners like you. Until next time, go find your freedom.